Welcome back to the Center in the City podcast, a space to pause, breathe, and come back to yourself, even in the middle of a full and busy life. I'm your host, Wade Brill, and in each episode, we explore mindfulness for real life, simple practices, reflections, tools to help you feel grounded, present, and connected to what matters most to you. So let's settle in and let's get centered. Welcome back to the Center in the City podcast. I'm your host, Wade Brill, and I am so glad you are here. Today in this solo episode, we are breaking down the unhelpful and toxic loop all of us can get in when it comes to dating. And I have been there, even though I've been with my husband for 14 years. Dating anxiety is real. So we're going to talk about what it is, how to stop overthinking, and how we can trust ourselves again so that we can actually enjoy the dating process. So wherever you are listening to this episode, on a walk, cooking in the kitchen, commuting, I welcome you to settle in and let's get centered. Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone, waiting for a text or replaying a text you sent in your mind or replaying a date in your head, wondering, did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing? Did I wear the right thing? Did I ask the right thing? Was I too flirty? Was I not flirty enough? Was I too aggressive? Was I too assertive? Okay, they texted me back. How many days do I wait to respond to them? Do you crowdsource from your friends what to say or what not to say or how you should play your next move? If any of this resonates, I want you to know you are so not alone. Today, we're going to be talking about dating anxiety, what happens for both the man and the woman in heterosexual dating, because it is so normal. And yet when we're in it, we feel so alone. We feel so isolated. We can then have more anxiety because we're comparing ourselves to others, thinking that everybody else is having a cool, calm, collected time while they're dating. And yet I'm the one spiraling out. So there must be something extra wrong with me. Especially for my high-achieving, ambitious ladies who are pretty damn confident at everything in their life. But when it comes to dating, it can sometimes feel a little shaky. And then that can stir up even more unease because people are like, what? I'm so confident. I'm so great. I'm so smart. I'm so driven. I'm so ambitious. Why can't this dating thing be easy? Why can't I be dominating at it? And when you're somebody who's conditioned and are so good at so many things in your life, it can be really hard when it comes to dating because you can think, wow, I'm working really hard at this. Why am I not getting the results that I want to get? But playing the dating game asks for something different of us. Dating invites us to play the uncertainty game. It invites us to trust ourselves. It invites us to remind ourselves that we can't control the timing of when we're going to meet our person. We can't control the chemistry. We can't control if somebody else is going to text us back or if somebody else chooses us. So today we're going to explore, how do we stay centered? How do we manage the anxiety that shows up in the uncertainty of navigating the dating world? More importantly, how can we anchor back into ourselves? How can we come back to the centered place so that we can trust ourselves and we can live and date from this inner place of confidence instead of getting swept away by the anxiety in our mind? Now, I haven't been personally on the dating scene in over 15 years. However, this topic and this theme comes up in my coaching sessions with my clients all of the time. So I've been able to witness so many people navigate and name the anxiety that arises in dating and then learn to feel more empowered and confident so that they can feel that from the inside out and then enter the dating world, navigating the sea of uncertainty, feeling still more grounded. In the current dating scene, there are just endless options with all of the apps and texting games and comparisons and ghosting culture. And when people are starting to date each other like dogs, sniffing each other out, sniffing each other's butts as they're taking walks on the street, People are doing this dance of genuinely trying to build connection and get to know one another. But at the same time, there's the sense of protecting. There's a sense of self protection and self preservation going on because we don't really know what the other person's intent is, or they might be showing one side of themselves and we don't know the other sides, or they might be seeing 5 other people at the same time, which is very normal in this day and age. And so, as much as we want to be vulnerable and open ourselves up to true connection, there's also this sense of, I need to protect myself because I don't want to be disappointed, or I don't want to share all of myself because I don't know what this person's going to do with it. And then after the date, there's always that lingering dance of, did he text me or do I text him? What do I say? What do I not say? Is he or she thinking about me? And our brains naturally want answers. Our brains don't like the ambiguity. In the place of ambiguity, it's really easy for, in Buddhism, what they call the monkey mind, to make up stories. And the monkey mind is this part of our brain that literally creates anxiety because it starts to make up stories when we have no truth of what's actually happening. If we went on a date with somebody and they didn't text back within 24 to 36 hours, that place of ambiguity is prime real estate for the monkey mind to start creating stories like, oh, he's losing interest, or I did something wrong, or he's not interested in me. This isn't going to work out. When we look at the situation, when we can objectively zoom out, we can just see it as facts. Like, it's been 24 or 36 hours. And yes, there might be quote unquote norms and rules of what dating should look like or how it should flow. But the real issue isn't what's happening, it's the stories that the mind creates. It's the stories that the mind overanalyzes and ruminates on. So some of the common signs that I see when people are starting to date from a place of anxiety instead of self-trust is that your mind is replaying the conversation or conversations that you had via text or maybe over drinks or that walk in the park over and over again. Your mind is looking for mistakes like, oh, I shouldn't have brought up the conversation about kids. That probably scared him off. Or maybe I sounded too negative. He probably wants a really positive and upbeat girl because that's what most guys want. Other signs of anxiety could be you are constantly checking your phone, constantly refreshing to see if he's texted. And maybe you notice you've spent more time analyzing the situation, analyzing what you said, didn't say, more than the amount of time you spent with that person. And maybe you notice your mind starts to become attached to the potential of this person rather than the reality of where the relationship is. Other signs of anxiety, you focus on them. You focus on them liking you instead of how much do I actually like them. And then what tends to happen is this obsession over this person liking you or needing to know what's happening in this relationship can start to sweep you off your center. You start to self-abandon yourself slowly, like you drop your hobbies or your routines, or you stop hanging out with friends, or to decide not to go on more dates. Maybe you put your life on pause, not making plans yet, or future vacation plans because you're thinking maybe this is going to work out, or he or she's going to get back to me so that we can then make these plans we talked about on our second date. So the center of gravity in your world becomes this other person. You've completely lost the ground beneath your feet, and you've let this person take your power, take your mind, take your attention. And when you don't feel grounded, when you don't feel connected to your center, when you don't have that sense of self-trust, it's really hard to feel confident in the dating world or just confident in general. So in a bit, we're going to talk about ways that you can support yourself coming back to your center, that you can find your feet and feel grounded and confident and clear in your own mind, body, and life. Now, before we go there, I want to highlight some of the dating traps that high-achieving women can fall into. And the first trap is sometimes turning dating into a performance. So, what I mean by that is they put this pressure on themselves. Like, I have learned and trained that if I work hard and follow these steps, I will be successful because these ambitious women have been successful in their careers, in their friendships, in their finances. So they're programmed and conditioned to think, okay, if I work harder, if I say the right thing, if I follow this script, if I do everything correctly, I will find my person. So the trap is that we don't build relationships by being perfect and by performing. We build relationships that last, or come through authenticity, come through genuine connection, come through vulnerable, present, real conversations. The second trap is that these high, ambitious women try to control the outcome. And I'm right there with you, sister, because we want certainty. We want guarantees. We want to know that this makeup and outfit and effort we're putting into a date is actually going to pay off. And we think that the person we're going on a date with, this man has to hit all of these boxes in order to be good enough to go on the date. And if we fall into that trap, we end up closing ourselves off to genuine connection that can happen from these surprising places. So you can't control whether somebody is the right fit, but what you can do is learn how to stay open and present and curious enough to find out. This third trap is one of the most common ones I see, where these amazing, smart, ambitious, beautiful women who are such catches start to feel like they're unworthy because they focus on this belief that the man has to choose them, right? Kind of like the Cinderella story, that this perfect man has to sweep them off their feet and that this man has to choose them. And so women forget that they also get to choose. Instead of, does he like me, or will he text me back, or will he ask me out on that third, fourth, second date, whatever it is. So instead of getting pulled into that trap, can you pause and ask yourself, do I like them? Do I want to go on a second date with them? So let's explore, how do we calm this anxiety that shows up in the dating world? So I welcome you to pause here and check in with yourself and just notice and get curious, like, where and when do I tend to feel the most anxious when it comes to dating? Is it before I even get on the apps? Is it while I'm setting up the dates? Is it before the date? Is it during the date? Is it after the date? And what to say in that space between? Maybe you notice anxiety shows up in many different shades and colors throughout the whole journey, and that's completely normal and natural. So I welcome you here to just pause, maybe grab the notes section of your phone or grab your journal, or if you're walking, just take a moment to think about this, like put me on pause and explore, how does my anxiety show up? What do I think? What are the thoughts going through my head in this process at these various stages of dating? What does the anxiety feel like in my body? Is it butterflies? Is it a tightening? Is it nausea? Is it racing mind? As I do with all of my clients, we want to name what's happening for ourselves because this helps tame what's going on. We help get some space between us and our experience when we can name it. This is a very helpful cognitive behavioral practice because we also start to disidentify the emotions and thoughts from ourself. Another extremely helpful practice when anxiety is showing up is to get clear on what are the facts and what is the fiction. Said in a slightly different way, what are the facts and what are the stories my mind is telling myself? So fact, it's been 36 hours and 22 minutes since our last text. Story, oh, that's way too long. He's not interested in me anymore. Fact, we've gone on 3 dates together. Story, oh my God, this is my person. We're going to get married. Oh, we're going to get married in this state near his family's country house. So you can start to tease out, what are the facts? What's fiction? What are the facts? What's the story my mind is telling myself? It is, again, a really powerful cognitive behavioral tool to get some space between you and the stories your mind is telling you. Because the root cause of anxiety is that our mind is a meaning making machine, and it is going to make up so much shit. Some of it might have some truth in it, but I bet you 99.9% of what our mind creates is also BS. And if we listen to the mind all of the time, it can steer us down a spiraled path that can take us away from our center, that can create more distrust and self-abandonment. And that's not what we want. We wouldn't want to be partnered with somebody who is more disconnected from themselves, right? We want to be partnered with somebody that is more connected, more centered, more in tuned in their self-trust and sense of inner confidence. Another extremely helpful practice here, before you check your phone, before you start to spiral out, or even if you're spiraling out, or if you notice you're texting all of your friends trying to get feedback or get external validation, or somebody just tell you that you're enough in a moment where you're not feeling enough, I want you to pause, put a hand on your heart, or give yourself a little hug in this moment and say to yourself, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? And when you ask yourself, what do I need right now? I want you to think about your highest, wisest self of I, not the I in this immediate moment that wants the quick fix, like a drink or a piece of chocolate or a cookie or binge watch a TV show, because usually that quick fix impulse is coming from a place of numbing. It doesn't want to feel, but your highest self does want to feel, and your highest self does have needs. When we connect to our highest self, this is a huge moment of coming back to yourself, of practicing self-trust instead of self-abandonment. Another really powerful practice when you're managing anxiety, when it's showing up, and this could be when you're on the date or maybe after the date, in that waiting game of will they text me or do they choose me conversation. Instead of letting the power dynamic go to the other person of like, did they choose me? Am I worthy enough? I want you to ask yourself these questions. And these are really powerful questions to find your center, to anchor back into yourself. So instead of do they like me or do they want a second date, I want you to ask yourself, do I like myself around this person? Like, how did this person make me feel? Do I trust myself and how I feel when I'm around them? Do our values align? And yes, some of these questions are heady in the terms of asking you to reflect. But as you reflect, I really welcome you to pay attention to your body. What is your body telling you? Does it feel warm and expansive when you think about them, or how you felt when you were around them? Does it feel constricting or tightening? So just pay attention to these little wisdoms of nudges that the body can gift us. Another extremely powerful practice to support you managing the anxiety and coming back to your center is living your joy while you're dating. And this might be the number one practice here. When you are living in your joy, when you're living in your truth, when you are living life in alignment to what lights you up, doing the things, being around the people that light you up, eating the things, cooking the way, moving your body in certain ways, you will vibrate, like you will shine. Your energy will be so contagious, because joy is what's contagious. And so when you're in your joy, when you're in your bright energy, instead of this conversation of I'm not enough or I'm not good enough or I'm comparing myself or I need to fix myself to be this mold so this person will like me, that is a very different energetic vibration. And you are not living your truth when you're trying to fit somebody else's mold or live somebody else's lifestyle. So when you practice that self-trust to know your joy, to live your life, that is what becomes contagious. And that vibration is going to be the thing that attracts other people. So anytime you start to feel yourself spiral into anxiety, spiral into the what if, spiral into the story, spiral into the not good enough conversation, I welcome you to pause it all and ask yourself, what would bring me joy in this moment? And again, not joy maybe in the short term dopamine desire, like let me eat this whole bag of cookies, but what would bring me joy for my highest self? And that is going to help you take the next steps you need to then do what feels good for you. And when you feel good from the inside out, that is when you get to attract and be your best self and welcome in somebody else who also values themselves in their life. And as a friendly reminder, dating isn't about becoming your entire life, even if you feel so pressured for time. Dating is about adding to your life. So continue to see your friends, continue to pursue your goals, continue to care and give to yourself and your community, because your life is not on hold until somebody else chooses you. This is a reminder to keep choosing yourself, keep choosing and loving on yourself. And again, this is not selfish. This is not self-indulgent. This is not narcissistic. This is you honoring your love of your own life, your love of your own body, your love of your own worth, so you can let that shine and be the thing that supports you being open-hearted to connect with others, to be vulnerable with others, to not feel like you have to perform in front of others. And as we're navigating early dating, it can start to feel like, oh, we need it to be obsessive or hot and heavy or all consuming or constantly exciting. But I want to remind you that healthy love is stable, it's safe, it's steady, it's grounded. You don't have to spend all of your days wondering, where do you stand with this person? You're not trying to fight or prove for somebody's affection. You can relax, you can be yourself, you can trust what you're experiencing. And even though you might be in a relationship or married one day and think that you have certainty down, it's never certain. Relationships are constantly changing, people are evolving, but healthy connection to yourself and your partner doesn't require you to abandon yourself. So as you're navigating the dating world, I want to remind you to honor your needs, to trust your instincts, to notice how you feel, to remain rooted and connected to your values, to come back to your center when you start to feel the winds of anxiety pull you away. And the more you are connected to yourself, the more you know yourself, the easier it becomes to recognize if this person or people you are dating are actually a fit, if you're actually in alignment with one another. So as I bring this episode to a close, I welcome you to pause and check in here. And after you've been able to name and note where and how the anxiety shows up in your dating journey, how it feels in your body, the common thoughts of anxiety that you experience, I welcome you to reflect on some of these practices and ask yourself, what's one practice I want to incorporate into my life this next week so that you can support yourself staying centered, staying connected to yourself, staying in self-trust as you navigate the world of dating. And if you are like, oh my God, Wade, this is helpful, but I notice I'm needing more support, I welcome you to reach out. I am opening up 3 new coaching spots in the month of July. So if this summer love and energy is calling your name, if the year of the fire horse is creating this heat and energy and excitement for you to get out there and start to spread your wings and meet new people, and yet you're looking for some more support on managing anxiety, I welcome you to reach out to me. Linked in the show notes, I'll drop a way to schedule a complimentary call to explore if coaching together is the right fit. Thank you for being here as always and letting me into your ears, your heart, your mind. If you found this episode helpful, please take a moment to rate and review the episode. Share this episode with somebody in your life that is in the dating world. And until next time, stay centered.